more waiting, admit all. So, dear colleagues, friends, welcome very much to today's webinar. My name is Ngalula Donald. I'll be your moderator for today. Kindly please settle in as we wait for a few more people to join in. Then we begin. Immediately. Meanwhile, for those ones who have been able to be with us since January, this should be our 5th webinar. Remember, in the month of January and February, we did other webinars, which the title was Global Opportunities for Registered Nurses in Kenya. And today we have our 5th webinar. Today's webinar is focusing on NCLEX, how to pass the NCLEX exams. So karibuni sana. I see we are already 28, and it looks like a good number. But before we begin, I don't know, is there anybody who was with us in the last meeting? Probably you might want to tell us what you gained in the last meeting that we had about global opportunities for nurses. I mean, just anybody, you can unmute and say or raise your hand. I'll be able to pick you up. Bosire Brian. Okay, somebody has unmuted. You want to say something, Alice?
No. Let me unmute.
Irene?
No.
Okay, what about Irene? Okay, let me ask Bosire Brian. Bosire Brian, I think you're with us in the previous meetings where we're talking about global opportunities for registered nurses. Are you able to say something or probably what you learned, how the experience has been so far?
Yes, there are a lot of opportunities outside there and they are paying really well. So let's just go outside and work. Eh? Yeah, that's what I learned.
Wow, thank you very much that there are a lot of opportunities outside. Let's go grab them. I see also Iro Omondi. Iro, you also in our previous meetings when you're talking about global opportunities for registered nurses. Can you share anything? Are you able to share anything you learned and how the experience has been so far? Yes, Iro? Okay. Then if Iro is not there, I'll request, let me see. I'm sorry guys, I'm just picking anyone. I see Christine Wendo. Christine. Yes, Iro, I see you are ready.
Yes, Donald.
Yes, Iro, I was asking, you are with us in the previous meetings that we had in January about global opportunities for registered nurses. At least I saw you in some of those meetings. I don't know if you can share with the rest of the forum what you learned and how the experience has been so far. Probably just share anything that you can remember and what you can share with us.
Well, there was a lot that I got from the meetings, but the main thing is that there were various opportunities for nurses abroad, and there are opportunities that will give nurses a good pay range, and there are good opportunities.
Oh, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you with us. Probably just one more person. Let me get one more person, then we'll officially begin the meeting. Now, who is ready? Who feels like he or she remembers what we talked about last time? You can just unmute and say, Irene?
Hello, Donald.
Yes?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, there's somebody speaking. Is it Irene or James?
Biria Makini.
Yes. Yes, please go on. Okay,
Hello,
fine.
Donald.
Yes, James, you can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Donald. And I've been following the webinars ever since the first one. I learned about Passcode in Instagram, and I've been trying my best to follow all the webinars because I am in the process. And in January, that's when I started my IELTS classes. I wanted to follow and capture as much as I can. And from this webinar, I was able to take my MOOCs exam for the IELTS with Passport team, with Hamlet. And now I'm preparing for my NCLEX exam. So from the webinars, I've learned what is required because information, there is always a problem with acquiring information. So when you have people that are telling you the steps that you want to take, that is a great advantage. So I have learned what is required for a nurse to work in UK. And I've also learned the requirements that a nurse ought to meet if they desire to work in the US. So the next step is upon an individual to make the decision and start the process or continue. So I'm here to learn more about the NCLEX because I'm aspiring to pass with my first attempt. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, James. That is quite insightful. I mean, these are the beautiful stories that we always want to wake up and listen to, of people getting information and acting from a point of information to make the life-transforming decisions and escalate their careers further. So trusting that probably we don't have anybody else who wants to share an experience. I don't want to lock anybody outside. If you are there, just maybe 2 seconds, unmute, then say. Okay, good. So, dear colleagues, we are going to begin officially. For those of us who just joined in, you are not late. You are actually on time and in time. As we've said, my name is Ngalula Donald. I am a nurse here in Kenya. I currently work with Cambry as a research nurse, and I also work with another organization as a quality assurance manager. I am a nurse who is passionate about empowering other nurses with information that can help them transform their career trajectory. And today we are here. To talk about NCLEX. Remember, we began this series of webinars in January and February. Today is our 5th webinar, and today's webinar is dedicated on NCLEX, how to pass NCLEX with one touch like this. So if you have been thinking about NCLEX, then this is the right place for you. This is we have the right people here who are going to help you, just like you've heard what James has said, so that when you meet next time, you'll also have a testimony of the great milestones that you are making. So, dear colleagues, at this juncture, allow me to invite the first speaker of the day, who is going to present about Passcode. Remember, these webinars are sponsored and brought to you by Passcode Global Consultants, who are also going to share this information with us free of charge. You will not be free of charge. And our first speaker is Humphrey Nkonge. Humphrey Nkonge is a registered nurse here in Kenya and also a registered nurse in the United States of America. And Humphrey Nkonge is our lead facilitator in these webinars. And today is going to present to us about Passcode Global Consultants, what they do, who they are, what interest they have when it comes to training about NCLEX and facilitating you as a nurse to pass your NCLEX exams. After Humphrey comes in, then we'll have our second our second speaker. So Humphrey, if you are there, kindly please can unmute and take it over.
Okay. Thank you, Donald, for this opportunity that you've given unto me. Can you kindly confirm to me whether I'm audible enough?
Yes, you are audible enough.
Thank you. So the other request I've sent to you, I think you can see it on chat. Good evening, everyone. I want to first of all start by thanking you so much for attending our webinars. We do not take it for granted. As a company, you are our support system, and we value so much. Let me also take this opportunity to appreciate the people who have been attending almost all our webinars. Personally, we have interacted with Johnson. Come out, please. If you can mute yourself, please. I have had the pleasure to interact with quite a number of nurses, and when we meet either in the office or in other places, and then you tell me that you heard about us in our webinars, we feel honored. So I'm happy again that we are interacting in the same platform. And as I usually keep on saying, even myself, when I come to these webinars, I come expecting to learn because we are all professionals. And my dream also is to see as many of us as possible living better lives and making good out of the profession, whether in Kenya or outside Kenya. So without much ado, I know we will also interact on the session of question and answers. So I'll go ahead and do my presentation. My presentation will be a short one. For questions, I'll be able to answer them when I'm given a chance. So allow me to share my screen for the presentation. And then we'll be able to proceed. So we are Passcode Global Consultants. That is the name by which we are known. And my name is Humphrey. I teach IELTS, and I also do teach NCLEX. Those of you who have interacted with me can be a witness. So our mission as Passcode, our vision is to become a leading gate pass for global nursing practice and experience. That's why you see even our name, we are called Passcode Global Consultants, because we are focusing on nursing as a global profession. And we're looking at when you graduate as a nurse in any country, and in this case, it is in Kenya. Are you able to work in any part of the globe? That is what we focus on. We focus with nursing as a very wide profession, a very marketable profession, a profession that can allow you to go to any part of this country and you practice. And in that regard, our mission is to inspire and empower nurses towards the exploitation of global nursing opportunities. We recognize that for you to be able to explore global opportunities, you need to be inspired and you need to be empowered. So on this aspect of empowering, we empower people by giving information, and we endeavor to give as much free information as possible. And in this case, by free, it doesn't mean that it is information that cannot help you. Because sometimes when you get free things, they may not be very valuable. I can assure you that what we give at Passcode, even if it's free information, it's very, very valuable. I personally have seen people who have benefited from them, the information. And if I can also give my case example, I had not thought that I could see the world in terms of nursing the way I see it today were it not for a friend of mine who also happened to be a classmate, who opened my eyes concerning the opportunities that have opened for nurses. So I consider sharing information as a very important aspect of life and an aspect of empowerment. Looking at our core values, we have excellence. We try our best to be excellent in what we are doing. Those who have come to our programs, especially the IELTS and NCLEX, you know that our product is a unique one in the market, because we do believe that if you teach someone well, you are going to get good results. We also believe a lot in teamwork, that if you want to succeed, you may not be able to succeed alone. But if you go with others, you succeed a lot. I was imagining a situation where you could be having Kenyan nurses in almost any hospital in the US, such that even when you are not working and you are just touring that big country, you can get a Kenyan nurse anywhere in that country. And we are in a situation where in the days before, people used to go to the US, to the UK, anywhere, and most of the people are not talking about it. So as Passcode Global Consultants, we are among the people who have said, we cannot know that there are some good opportunities somewhere, then we just keep quiet. It is our responsibility to tell others, because with the globalization and the advancement in technology, the world is a global village. So we believe in empowering people and working together. Now, empathy, I cannot say much about that, because the people in here are nurses and you know about empathy. Now, in matters of honesty and integrity, we endeavor to be honest with people as possible. I cannot disclose here that some of the questions that some people ask us, especially those who are not nurses, especially regarding the IELTS exam, and we are usually as honest with them as possible. Sometimes I remember even in our programs like the IELTS, we teach you, and sometimes because of challenges of not being available, maybe the student not being available to attend classes, we realize that this student is not ready for an exam. We will tell you that we feel that you are not ready for your exam. Please create more time so that when you go do your exam, you're going to pass that exam. Human dignity, of course, being in the nursing profession, we cannot ignore human dignity, and we value that a lot at Passcode. Now, this slide is about why we exist. And there are various reasons why we exist, but they can be narrowed down to nurses who are registered, looking for jobs, but not able to access those jobs. So we are looking at this scenario where you have nurses in Kenya who are very competent and they need jobs. Now, these jobs are available. Now, this nurse needs a job and the job is available, but between the nurse who needs a job and the job, there's a big gap. And even though there are some bridges existing already, these bridges also have some, maybe I can call them some bottlenecks or some challenges. So one of those challenges is information. Without information on how to get these jobs and where to get them, the nurse who needs a job will not get the job, and the employer who needs a worker will not get the worker. So we are endeavoring as much as possible to provide information to nurses on where the jobs are and how to acquire those jobs. Of course, in our previous webinars, we talked a lot about the UK, we talked about the US, we talked about Canada. And I am happy today, a few months later, that we have people in the program who are already exploring these opportunities. Some of them have already flied out, and I'm talking about from the time we had our webinars and now, not when this company started. And we are happy about that. Now, when you look at the US process, for example, you will see a process that when you imagine about it, you may think that it is not possible. today, because I know you have friends who are in this process, and probably we also have people here in this meeting who are already in the process at advanced stages, you can be a witness that there are people who did their NCLEX in 2019, that is before the COVID-19 pandemic, and they have not been able to go to the US. It doesn't mean that these people will not go to the US. They will go to the US, but they have to meet every requirement of the process. What has been confirmed is that by the end of their process, they will be happy. And as nurses, I would urge that we look at the end result. Why am I doing this process, and what will I get at the end of this process? One thing I would like to tell people about the US process, when you are doing it, do not leave whatever you are doing, especially for your income. Continue with what you are doing as you do the process. So as ourselves as a company, we are trying to work on the bottlenecks or the challenges that people, nurses meet when they want to do this process. There are those people who qualify to join agents, and there are those people who do not qualify to join agents. We have customized our products to be able to take care of all those people. Those who want to join agents, those who want to join direct hire agents, those who want to join traditional agents, and those who want to do everything by themselves. You will realize that agents are different. There are some with very tough conditions. There are others with some friendly conditions, but they are lacking something else. For example, there are some agents that will not have a very effective let me actually withdraw the word very. You'll find that some agents will not have an effective NCLEX program. So that might be detrimental on the side of the candidates. And remember, there is no agency that will sponsor you 100%. Most of the agencies will sponsor you to a certain percentage. Even those people who have joined quite a number of the most known traditional agencies, they will tell you that they have spent a lot of money in the process. So sometimes the aspect of being sponsored in quotes can confuse someone to think that they are not going to invest money in the process. But I want to assure you that there is a good investment in terms of money and also time. So as Passcode, we do try to work with you as an individual to enable you to meet agency conditions if you want to meet agency conditions. And for most of our students, we prepare them to pass the NCLEX such that by the time they are passing the NCLEX, they have fulfilled most of the requirements, and it becomes easier for them to join any agency of their choice, including if they want to continue with us, that is post NCLEX. So we are bringing a unique product into the market in that we do not want to tell you to go away if you are very much interested to go to the US and you work in a dispensary, and most of the agencies will not take you in. What we will start preparing you about is if you are working in a dispensary and you're not familiar with some of the things, quite a number of the things that may be needed in the NCLEX, what kind of a revision program can we be able to customize for you so that you can be able to ace the NCLEX? Because the issue of work, for example, 80-bed capacity hospital, just to give an example, does not determine whether you will pass the NCLEX. It determines whether an agency will take you. It doesn't determine whether you can go to the US. Any registered nurse in Kenya qualifies to work in the US because they are registered here in Kenya. They just need to pass the NCLEX. And when you are preparing, you are doing the NCLEX, it doesn't sometimes determine where you work or the size of the hospital where you work. So we have come up with a unique product that will look into your situation. And then we are able to sit down with you and explain to you how can we be able to bring you in, and you go do your exam and you get that status that you have passed NCLEX. Because the moment you have passed NCLEX, the other requirements you can meet them even after passing the NCLEX. For example, quite a number of agencies will require that you have around 1 year experience. This means that even if you pass NCLEX and you don't have the experience, you can enroll into a hospital to get the experience, and within 1 year, when you are still doing the process, you will acquire your experience. because sometimes even when you are already working in a hospital, you go past NCLEX, you may still spend about a year as you do the embassy process. So we guide you to meet the requirements and we work with you. We customize a product for you that will enable you to achieve your dreams. So I know there will be some questions about that, and I'll be able to answer them. We will be able to answer them as we proceed. Now, maybe I can say a little about our services. We do train for IELTS, IELTS, and we do physical training. We also do online training. There's no big difference between physical training and our online training because our tutors are the same, the materials are the same, the program is the same. The only difference is you're not coming, for example, in the online program, you're not coming to the office physically. So if you need IELTS, we have a very comprehensive program. You can contact our agent, our receptionist. Now, in Matters UK Nursing, we also help with NMC account creation and anything dealing with registration for NMC CBT. Revision classes for NMC CBT, we also do them for those who are interested in going to practice in the UK. For the US, we do CGFNS filing. We help you to do your profile with the CGFNS, which sometimes can give you headaches. But that is what we do. So we have in our team people who have specialized in that. And I will not talk about NCLEX revision guidance because my colleague will be talking about it, our program. We also do consultations on global nursing opportunities. Now, this is a very unique product because when you're making a decision to go and practice outside, it is not an easy decision. Someone will ask you, should I go to the UK? Should I go to Australia? Should I go to the Republic of Ireland? Should I go to the US? Where should I go? People will ask you, I have 5 children. Where do I start? Which is the best country for me? So what we do, we schedule a meeting with you and you pay us something small. We help you to evaluate everything. Sometimes people come to us and ask us, now I'm making this amount of money in Kenya. Should I really go to the US? What is the need? And I want to assure you that when you have such kind of issues, you need to discuss them and get as enough information as possible so that you can make an informed decision. So our aim is to help you to make an informed decision. So do not fail to get information when we are there to give you that information. We also do severe alignment to international standards, which is a big requirement for recruiters and client hospitals. So now, what we provide, we give you information like in these webinars for free. The paid consultation, I've talked about it, CGFNS, Board of Nursing Applications, NCLEX revision. We give materials and guidance. And when you are ready to schedule your NCLEX exam, we also help you with logistics, that is to go to South Africa, and in terms of accommodation and travel. Sometimes when you come through us, you may get cheaper options, I mean affordable options. And lastly, if you pass your NCLEX and you want us to continue holding your hand in terms of you getting employment, we'll also be glad to do that. So as I'm coming to the end of our presentation, those are our contacts. The email, our Facebook page, you can like our page for updates. And our Instagram is there, the YouTube, and also we do have a website. So that's the end of my presentation. And thank you so much for the opportunity. So back to you, Donald.
Thank you very much, Humphrey, for that wonderful and insightful presentation. It's always good to listen to you and get to know what Passcode is all about before we go to the core of today's business. So if you are there, you are sitting there and wondering, oops, what's happening? I mean, you are not late. We are about to go to the core business of the of the day. And at this juncture, I would like to invite the next speaker. And our next speaker is Alice Mwikambi. Alice Mwikambi, I don't know how to describe her. She's one of the passionate nurses I've met, very passionate about nursing, a same graduate from the University of Nairobi. And she's also she's a registered nurse in Kenya and also a registered nurse in the US. In addition, Alice is also a health economist consultant. So if you have issues on health economics that you might want some light, Alice is your person to go to. And she wears quite a number of caps. And for today's session, Alice is also the program director, the NCLEX program director for Passcode Global Consultants. And if you've been able to see the poster that was shared about today's webinar, is that we are going to learn on CGFNS registration. You've been hearing Humphrey talking about it. Probably you're wondering what it's all about. The nursing board registrations, how to go about it, and also how to go about NCLEX revision, the content, and the logistics for NCLEX test in
Donald, we are losing you. If you can hear me, please.
So, Alice, Alice is coming. If you have a question, kindly answer them live later. Yes, Alice, if you are there, please take it over.
Hi. I'm sorry about that. I had a small power problem. I hope I'm the host of the meeting so that I can be able to present.
Yes, sure. Let me just share the slides with you.
Okay.
So there you go. I think you are now ready. And probably some people may be in the waiting room. They might be wanting you to admit them now with their host rights.
All right.
Okay.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alice Mwikamba. And thank you so much, Donald, for that elaborate introduction. I'm very passionate about the global prospects for the Kenyan nurses. I envision a scenario where every Kenyan nurse will be able to get a befitting opportunity to practice in a place of their choice and be according to the global standards. I am a US registered nurse and a health economist, and I am the program director with the Passcode Global Consultants. My team and I have taken a lot of time to study the NCLEX, getting to understand the content that is required, the standard approaches that are required, and NCLEX style questions, so that we can be able to equip our candidates with the right content, the right exam taking strategies in a way that will propel them to a trajectory that gives them confidence, right skills and knowledge to pass the NCLEX with within the first row. Dear future USI team and I took quite a lot of time, and I know that the biggest problem that nurses face is the how. We all want the best for ourselves. We want to become USRNs. We want to become registered nurses in Canada. We want to go to the UK, but the how, and especially to the details of passing the licensure exam, is where most of the people usually lose hope and they forfeit the entire process. So my role, together with my team, is to bridge that gap, to make sure that we have everything in place, to make sure that we have the right materials for you with our program. We also give you the green light based on our predictory mechanisms that we use to determine whether you're ready for the NCLEX or not. So without wasting much time, allow me to go into the details of our NCLEX review program. And this is especially for the nurses that are interested in pursuing career opportunities in the US and Canada. So once again, welcome to Passcode NCLEX review program. And I cannot emphasize enough that this program is especially designed to guide you through a successful NCLEX review journey And when we are designing this program with USRN, that we are able to guarantee a pass rate of over 90% on first trial of NCLEX. Our course is usually categorized into 4 modules, and these modules are designed in a way that simulates the actual NCLEX exam. As a candidate, you'll be required to dedicate 10 hours of study per week. And this is for a duration of 4 months. So we have 4 main thematic areas, and this is according to the specific demands of the NCLEX. We went to the NCSBN, our website. We extracted required knowledge and skills for the nurses so that they are mapped with 4 thematic areas. Yes, please.
I'm sorry to interject. Yes, I was wondering if you are moving your slides. And then I'm checking your network is a little, it's kind of buffering. Maybe you might try to turn off your video that you optimize your network.
All right, thank you for that. Maybe you can give me a second. I can try to connect to a better connection.
Yes, sure, no problem. Meanwhile, there's somebody called Techno. I hope you are now able to hear because he wasn't getting us. Okay, you ready?
Probably we can be handling a question I saw on chat as we wait for Alice to connect.
Oh yes, sure. There was a question by Mabukom, and I think I lost it though. But I remember the question was asking what is the best states to explore in the United States. I don't know if you're able also to see the question.
Yes, that's the question I saw. I think it was asking about the boards of nursing that we use to register our students.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in case that is not the question, we can project it again. Yeah, the question by Mabuko. Okay, yes, Alice is back. I don't know whether I proceed or.
Maybe you can just answer it as I reshare the admin rights with her.
Okay, good. So Mabuko, your question, and I believe all the others would also like to know, we have specified boards of nursing that we use, but we are very open with our students. In case they have a preference of any board of nursing, we do register them with the board that they want. Currently, we have them that we use frequently, including Texas, Florida, Washington. I think they are quite a number. But what I would like also to add on top of that is that in the US, even though you are registered by a particular state, it is not a must that you practice in the state where you registered. The main reason for registering with a particular board is for you to be able to do your NCLEX. The moment you do your NCLEX and pass your exam, say for example, you have registered with the Board of Texas, Nursing Board of Texas, then you pass your NCLEX and you are getting a job of your specifications in Florida. So what you will need to do is just to apply for endorsement of your license, and you can be able to practice in another state like Florida through the compact agreement that states have, whereby if you are a nurse who is registered in Texas, your license will be recognized in all the states that are participating in the agreement, compact agreement, but there is a small process that you'll need, which is called license endorsement. Remember also, this is also a good opportunity for me to add that we have in our program students who are interested to go and work in Canada. But the process of registering in Canada is a bit hard than the one for the US. So we do prefer to register our students through the US, some of the states in the US. They do the NCLEX, they pass. Then they pursue their Canada career, they pursue their Canadian dream after passing the NCLEX, because it will be a lot easier compared to when you want to practice nursing in Canada before you do your NCLEX. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Humphrey. I think Alice, now you're back. You can take it over. Thank you.
Okay, I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you so much, and sorry for that slight technical hitch. I believe we are now ready to continue. So just to recap, I said that we have studied the NCLEX, and we've been able to come up with four main thematic areas according to the NCSBN specifications. Each of these areas takes a total of 4 weeks, but in between the weeks, we've been able to subdivide our study modules in such a way that we have broken down our content into small, understandable areas. And at the end of every part, we do weekly as well as monthly exams in order to assess the specific candidates' abilities, identify their weaknesses, and work together with them to bridge any weaknesses that they might be having. Moving on, we have a very interactive and engaging mode of teaching. We have combined different teaching approaches in order to ensure that our students are able to absorb as much information as possible. Just to list a few, we have live scheduled lectures. In a week, we have a number of lectures that are spearheaded by a team of well-trained and seasoned NCLEX coaches. We also have live crash courses. The crash courses involves specific areas that have been identified by our students. Let's say if a student feels that they are weak in pharmacology or they have a weakness in ECG, we come up with a crash course for the ECG, and we invite other students in our program who may not necessarily have raised their concern to join. Then we have a live question and answer sessions where we allow our candidates to come with their NCLEX questions. We go through the question, we go through the rationales, and then we guide them on how to identify the right answers. May I also mention that in every area of our study, we emphasize a lot on exam taking strategies. So you find that during lectures, our live crash courses and our Q&A sessions, we always recap on exam taking strategies, because being able to apply exam taking strategies is as important as mastering the content. The two are not mutually exclusive, and we have been able to schedule our teaching program in such a way that it creates a very stable balance of the two, such that by the time the candidate is completing the whole program, they are well equipped with exam taking strategies, they have the right knowledge and a good understanding of the content, so that when they go to sit for the NCLEX exam, it will be a walkover. They'll be able to easily pass within the first trial, and possibly with a minimum number of questions, which is currently set at 75. We also have a rich combination of reading materials that we recommend our candidates to use. And on top of that, we have weekly and end of module assessment tests. The purpose of our weekly and module assessment tests is not like to delay the efforts of the candidates, but they are a supplementary to help us understand our candidates, to help us give the right guidance, probably advise on the best approaches that they can employ in order to overcome their weaknesses, and also to improve their grades in such a way that sets them well for the NCLEX exam. This is how our program flows. We usually start with the introduction. So when you enroll for our program, we schedule time for adequate introduction, and this is very important because it helps you to familiarize with the NCLEX environment. We are able to establish an NCLEX environment in your head. You're able to understand what is NCLEX, how does it work, what do you need to pass the NCLEX, what are the test-taking strategies, how much time do you need to dedicate, who are your mentors, because we have a team of mentors that are assigned to a few students so that they can concentrate on them. Our mentors usually track your progress throughout the program. You are able to communicate with our mentors through different communication channels. And during introduction, you get to know your mentors. We get to distribute the materials and even guide you on how to use the materials. During introduction, we also expose you to our question banks and guide you on how you're going to use them collaboratively together with our content review, in such a way that by the end, the time you're completing the program, you've been able to not only understand the content, but you have also reinforced your test-taking strategies through NCLEX-like questions. So we have a total of 4 courses, as I explained in my area slide, all of which are taking 4 weeks each. And after that, remember that between the 4-week course period, we have end of weekly examinations, and we also have an intercourse exam. All of these are able to give us a good understanding of the candidate, and they also give the candidate an opportunity to get a good, adequate exposure of NCLEX-like questions. So once you're done with the course, we have partnered with world-class and NCLEX-like tested question banks that we give our students, depending on how we assess our candidate. We recommend a specific question bank, and in that question bank, we are able to schedule 4 readiness assessment tests. As a requirement, a candidate is required to score very high or high chances of passing on the 4 readiness assessment tests in order to be cleared for the next step. Once you've passed the readiness assessment test, we have the computerized adaptive tests, which are simulated to reflect the setting of the actual NCLEX. And we usually require you to do 2 of them. But our best determinant of readiness for NCLEX is the readiness assessment test. The cards are for your own experience to help you get a good feeling of how the actual NCLEX feels like. So once you've done the card, we clear you, we give you the green light, you're ready for the NCLEX, you go for the NCLEX day, and you pass the USRN. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to emphasize that we are there to make sure that you understand the entire course, right from introduction to cards. And with this, we are over 90% assured that as our student, you stand over 90% chance of passing the NCLEX during your first try. So when we are waiting for the logistical clearances, or in the event that you finish the entire course and maybe you have a week or 2 to exam, we take opportunity of that little period to do our final tutorials. And during our final tutorials, we review your exam taking strategies. We remind you the strategies. We remind you of the core content areas, especially the areas where you feel you're weak. We review to make sure that your logistics are in place, your travel documents, any travel requirements, booking and accommodation is in place, so that you can smoothly go to your test center, take your exam without any distractions. This is what we expect from our candidates. We expect that for our candidates to be successful in the program, they'll be able to attend the live courses, and during attendance, they'll be able to participate actively. During introduction, we usually orient you to the Zoom windows, so that you understand where you can chat, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to talk to the instructor, how you go about it. So once that one is in place, we expect that you'll be able to participate actively. We might point you out to answer a question, we might invite you to present a case study, and all this is just geared towards ensuring that the information that we are teaching you is sticking, so that you can apply it in your NCLEX and even in real life scenarios once you transition to your country of choice. We also expect that our candidate will complete their weekly reading assignments in time. Remember, the more time you buy in between, the more information you stand to lose. So we advise that our candidates remain dedicated, so that they attend the weekly courses in time, participate, and also complete their reading assignments in time, so that all this information remains fresh in your mind. I understand that as adults, we have a lot of commitments, but there is always an excuse to not do something. So once you are dedicated, it becomes easy. It becomes easy, and you're able to do this NCLEX once and for good. And the beauty of that US license is that it doesn't expire. Once you pass your NCLEX, you get your license, it's there and it's yours, and you can go back and concentrate with other matters of life. We also expect that our candidates will pass their weekly and intercourse tests. This is very critical because our pass mark has been tested, and it's one of the key determinants of our 90% assurance of our pass rate. So in the event you are not able to pass your weekly and intermodule tests, we are able to review maybe what could have derailed you from passing the exam, and then we'll give you multiple chances to test. What is needed of you is dedication, availability, and communication. Then we also expect you to work together with us in your licensure and logistical arrangements, such that as you study, you are also registering with the respective state boards of nursing. You're organizing on how to get your visa to go and test, because the test is not provided in Kenya at the moment, although there are plans to bring a setting in Kenya, but that one we are not in control of it. We'll update you as time goes by. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. It's a pleasure having you here tonight. And at this juncture, I would take the meeting back to the host so that he can direct us to the next step. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Alice. I don't know if probably people have ever told you or commented that you are quite a natural teacher. In the way you present your information, a student will not have to struggle to grasp what is being presented. Thank you very much for the presentation and the insights. Now we are going to get questions from the attendants. Before we go to read what's in the chat, I'm going to give an opportunity to two people to ask their questions live before we read what's in the chat box. So, is there anyone of us who is ready to ask a question? You can raise your hand and ask, and I'll grant you the mic, or probably you can just unmute, then ask your question. I'll give priority to the first two. Yes, Brian Bosire. Brian, you can unmute.
Thank you so much. Was it Passcode? Yes, for the very informative session. Yeah, so my questions, I think are 2 or 3. One is, how much do you charge for your training? So 2, the other 2 is the cost for 30,000 so the cost for the NCLEX exams. What are the costs for NCLEX exams? And 3, if maybe you can say in summary, what exactly, because you have highlighted a lot of things in the presentation. There's NCLEX, there's CGFNS, there's visa. Can you like highlight a very simple, maybe say 5 things needed? You can say you need your NCLEX, you need your visa, you need this, so that someone can know. And what is the total overall cost of everything, plus estimated duration? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Like the bare minimum.
Well, thank you, Brian. I think Humphrey has noted the 3 questions. I'll take us the second person. Second person who is ready. If you don't have a second person, then Humphrey, probably you've heard what Brian asked. What, yes? Is somebody speaking?
My question is, yes, here, Donald.
Yes, James.
In the social media, I've come across people who say that they have done the NCLEX several attempts. Maybe one saying they're preparing for their 3rd attempt, others the 5th or 10th attempt. So our tutors can help us to understand what makes people not to pass, so that even as we are studying, we can work on the weaknesses or the errors that those people do. That is my question.
Wow, thank you very much. Alice has gotten the question. She will respond to it after Humphrey. Humphrey?
Okay. Thank you for that question.
So Humphrey, we had a question from Brian. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the question was on how much for the training, and also a breakdown of costs and the steps that one needs to do the NCLEX. So for our module, we charge 30,000 Kenyan shillings, which is a discounted price. And that one includes the live classes, fixed classes that we do on a weekly basis, It also includes the crash courses as requested by students. It also includes the materials that we support you with, and all the guidance that we give you from when you're starting the process to when you end the process. So probably in my own assessment, having done the process of the NCLEX, we try to come up with a course that is friendly to a Kenyan right now, considering the way the economy is. Otherwise, if you consider everything that goes into training someone for the NCLEX, it should be more. But I am happy that people are taking this opportunity positively and joining the program. Now, probably I can summarize about the steps very quickly. And I will also give a link to our previous webinar because we summarized the steps of becoming a USRN. So when you want to become a USRN, and that is from now when you are in Kenya and you go to the United States, there are two phases involved. The first phase is pre-NCLEX. The second phase is post-NCLEX. Now, in the pre-NCLEX phase, you need to be a registered nurse in Kenya, so you must have your license. And you need to have the will. You need to have made a decision that you want to go. Those, according to me, are the main requirements. The requirements change per agency. So every agency will have specific requirements, but yourself, if you want to do the NCLEX, you just need to be a registered nurse in Kenya, that's all. So once you are a registered nurse in Kenya and you want to start the NCLEX process, you will do a registration with a body called CGFNS, Council of Foreign, something to do with foreign nursing schools. Council of Foreign Graduate Foreign nursing schools. So this body, what does, they verify whether your license is genuine and your certificate, whether it is a diploma certificate or degree certificate. And I must say that if you have studied a diploma in nursing or a BSN, you qualify to go to become a registered nurse in the US. So when you register with the CGFNS, they give you a report called the CES report. That report enables you to register with the Board of Nursing and get an ATT, authorization to test, which enables you to schedule your exam with another body called Pearson View. So once you reach the Pearson View stage, you are ready to test. Someone also asked, are you telling me you go outside the country to do a test? Yes. There is no center for NCLEX in Kenya. So as a Kenyan, you either go to India or South Africa. So those are the main steps. And the steps that takes long is the CGFNS, which takes around 3 or 4 months. Sometimes you can get a delay with your school because there is a document that is signed by the school and the nursing council. I must also remind you that we help people with the nursing council, validation of documents. If you are far from Nairobi and you would like to send someone, we are a legitimate company, so we can do that work for you, because when you travel, sometimes you use a lot of money. So if you push your documents, you may not take a lot of time to have the CGFNS receive them, because they will take like 3 months from the time they receive your documents. Now, post-NCLEX, having done the NCLEX, the main thing is immigration. So for immigration, you don't have much control over it because it is your employer who will be guiding your immigration process. And everything is to do with the embassy. It's a matter of first come, first served basis. So that is a process that may not be expedited as long as you have gotten your case to be case complete with the embassy. So just briefly on costs, the main cost pre-NCLEX is the cost of CGFNS, which right now is around $390. That's around 46,000 shillings because the dollar rate is high right now. From there, the other main cost is the cost of traveling to South Africa or India, For air ticket, we are looking at something like 100,000. And accommodation cost now, that will depend with what you want. Because some people will do 10,000 per night, others will do 3,000 per night. So main cost, CGFNS and travel. Otherwise, you will also need to factor the cost of materials, but it will depend with who is guiding you in regard to the materials. So I think those are the questions that were asked, and back to you, moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for the elaborate answers. I've seen you've also tackled the questions that were also popping up as you are tackling the other question, which was quite amazing. At least we've saved some minutes for us. There was the second question, which was asked by James, and this one I directed to Alice. So Alice, James asked a question that he's been on social media, and at times he sees people talking how they have sat for NCLEX 8 times, 10 times. So what goes wrong? What are the errors that they commit? Is there anything you can share with us that the errors that wants to pass NCLEX with one touch like this? So karibu sana Alice to respond to that one.
Thank you so much, Donald, for even reframing that question very well. So getting to you, James, about the NCLEX failure rate. Currently, the pass rate is about 80% for the first-time test takers, but it becomes a bit tough for the second-time test takers and going forward. And may I mention that the NCLEX is not an easy exam. Ladies and gentlemen, NCLEX is a very thorough, meticulous, and tricky exam. The NCLEX seeks to understand how safe you are as a nurse. And for you to portray your safety as a nurse, you need to understand the content, you need to understand the test-taking strategies, and you also need to understand the vagueness of the NCLEX. Just to mention, this exam doesn't give you much information. It's very brief and to the point. It's up to you for a nurse to decode the information. And as NCLEX candidates, people make a lot of mistakes. And these are some of the mistakes that contribute to the high failure rate, especially among the international nurses. People approach the NCLEX as a normal school exam, the way we used to do CATs in nursing school, the way we did our NCK qualifiers and all. But this is not the case. Remember, this exam is set in a perfect world. There is no improvising in NCLEX. There is no shortcuts in NCLEX. There are no resource shortages in NCLEX. NCLEX is set up in a perfect world where the hospital has all the money, the hospital has all the nurses that they need, where as a nurse you have all the time, and where as a nurse you have the right knowledge and information to offer your patients safe and effective care. And so some of the study mistakes to mention briefly is that number one is the approach. What is the approach that you use as a nurse? Do you have a predetermined time? Do you have the right goals? Like if you decide you want to study for this exam for 4 months, do you stick to that? Or do you get swayed somewhere along the way and you pick up another path? Some people are not even decided where they want to go to, whether they want to go to the UK or to the US. And so they stay there oscillating between the two. You touch one module and the next day you're in IELTS. Today you're thinking about NCLEX, the other day you're thinking about IELTS. And without consistency, you cannot hack it in NCLEX. NCLEX requires a thorough, proper, clear, and dedicated approach. Another thing that people make most of the time is the materials. For you to pass the NCLEX, you need to invest in the right materials. You need to have the right people guiding you into the right content review materials, giving you the right notes, directing you to the right question banks. And even the question bank, you don't just do the questions for the sake of it. You need a guided approach to understand Which questions do you need to pay more attention to? How to generate the right questions for you? How do you even analyze the metrics to guide you on your performance for those questions so that you can get value addition after doing the question to understand your standing as far as the preparation is concerned? And another very important aspect is the mental health. NCLEX preparation is very draining. You need the people who have been through the process and people who are especially dedicated to hold your hand and walk you through. You need people that are helping you to take care of your wellness so that you can even manage the anxiety. You can even manage the expectations, because the stakes are very high for the NCLEX. You pass the NCLEX, you become a USRN. All the opportunities are here waiting for you in the US and the Canada. If you don't pass the NCLEX, you have invested a lot of time, a lot of money. As you've heard Humphrey mention, it's quite a meticulous and long process. So you invest a lot of money with CGFNS, a lot of cash with the State Board of Nursing, a lot of money with PS on View, a lot of money on travel and accommodation. And then here you are again failing the same exam. Like there's a lot of expectations, and there is a lot of good that will come out of it. So you need the right people to support you, to guide you, and to see you through the entire process so that you manage these expectations and so that you can get the desired outcome. Another thing is not being able to understand yourself. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. So as Passcode Global Consultants, we usually understand our candidates and maximize on their strengths. There are people who are active learners, others are passive learners. Others learn best by listening, others by reading, others through group discussions. So you need to be able to learn yourself so that you can bring out your best. And this your best is what will give you a pass in NCLEX. And finally is the study strategies. The materials that you use, are they well organized? Do you have the right access to exam taking strategies? Do you have people to tell you with this kind of a trade, you need an additional month of study? Do you have people to tell you that you need to manage your anxieties? So the strategies mounting to the final day of the exam are very important. Finally, let me mention that failing is part of the process. And so if you're in this meeting and you've done the NCLEX once, twice, or thrice, all is not lost. Guys, let me mention that when I was preparing for my NCLEX, I encountered people who have tried for this exam more than 5 times. And fortunately, I was able to capture the areas that they made a mistake, and I'm going to use them for the advantage of our candidates to make sure that nobody in our program goes through the same. But if you're here, you started the process, you failed and you left, this is the right time to pick up yourself. This is the right time to join our program. And I can assure you that we are going to hold your hand until you pass this exam. And guys, it is worthy every effort, every sleepless night that you spend, every extra coin that you use, it is worth it. It is worth it. And this is the right time to start. We are here for you. Feel encouraged. Pick up your pieces, come to Passcode Global Consultants, and you will be in safe hands in the right place where you are assured of the right support and an ultimate clean pass. Thank you, Donald.
Wow, that is really meticulous and quite elaborate. I'm really convinced. You know, if you are a pastor, I'll have come to receive. Now, thank you very much, Alice. So we have a few more questions, and I see time is also taking a toll on us, but quite some good conversation going on in the chat box. Remember, you can still comment in the chat box, just like what Gabriel is saying, that everything is just meticulous. Thank you very much, Gabriel. We have Millie Massa is saying, I wish I knew about Passcode team early enough. I'll be better placed right now. Oh, Millie, you are not even late. You are just on time. So welcome very much. Now, Humphrey, there's a question that I would like to direct to you. There are two questions actually. The first question is, what if I only need the revision classes, helping classes, having already registered with an agent, but not doing well in pre-test and preps? Do you charge the same 30K? That's the first question. And the second question, which is almost similar to that one, is, I saw it somewhere. That will be, okay. Okay. Okay, Humphrey, I think that will be okay for it. You can handle that one. And then meanwhile, as Humphrey is handling that question, Alice, if there's a question you can answer direct in the chat box. I see some questions directed to you, can also be answering them. But we'll also answer others live, the ones which will not be answered. Thank you, Humphrey.
Okay, thank you for those questions. Yes, the person who is with another agency and they need to join us for the revision program, they are very much welcome, and the cost is still 30,000. Remember, that cost is not the cost for the whole process. I mean the process. That is for the NCLEX revision program. So even if you are with another agency and you want to come do classes with us, you will be coming to do the NCLEX revision program. So the cost remains, because once you join us, we are not going to give you 90% of what we are giving the others. We are going to take you in as a full student, and we are going to give you everything we are giving the others. So I think that was direct. Just maybe to add that there are people who are in agencies that may not be having a comprehensive NCLEX program, probably because the main aim of that agency or their existence in what they are doing probably is not the NCLEX program. Remember, some of the agencies that will be recruiting you, their goal might be getting enough nurses for the hospital. So their NCLEX program may not be a big investment for them. And I want to mention that for us, our NCLEX program is one of our main products, the NCLEX revision program. So you can still be with the other agency, but you come to us to do the NCLEX revision program, and we are going to hold your hand and support you very effectively. The other person asked if they are already registered with the CGFNS, how long will they need to take the classes? If you are already registered with the CGFNS, it is not clear whether you have received your CES report or not. So even if you have received your ATT and probably you are not prepared enough to go take your exam, we'll still give you the full course. There are others who join us when they have already received their ATT, and ATT is 3 months to testing. So in that case, your ATT might be limiting, but for us, we try to give you the whole course within the 3 months when your ATT is expiring, so that you will be fully prepared before you do the NCLEX. Remember, revising for the NCLEX exam cannot be standardized sometimes for everyone. We have standardized the module, the course, but for a candidate, we are taking you as a unique student. So that is why you will be given a mentor, as it was mentioned, because you also need to assess you to know where you are in terms of content coverage. Where are you in terms of the skills of answering NCLEX style questions? So it is very important to know that while someone can study the NCLEX for 2 months, go and pass the exam, it is not everyone who can do that. Other people will need 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, depending on on very many other factors. So I think I've answered my questions, and back to you, Donald.
Thank you very much. Just another one. The 30K, can it be paid in installments, or it's one time, a one-off payment?
Okay, I believe you wanted me to answer that. So
yes.
That is an issue that is under discussion by our board. Probably there might be changes in the future, but as for now, we require the amount to be paid as a one-off payment because there are other preparations that we have to make immediately a candidate pays so that we can be able to serve them effectively. In case there will be a change on that, we will be communicating through our contacts.
Okay. Thank you very much. Alice, there's a question by Ferdinand Mogakam. I think this one was sent in my DM. So he's asking, I am concerned to know if doing online academic writing gives one an upper hand in preparing for NCLEX. Does doing online academic writing give an upper hand in preparing for NCLEX? And then another question in the same line that probably you can handle was a question from Elizabeth. Elizabeth is asking, I'm yet to process my school certificate. I'm yet, okay. I believe she wants to say she's yet to start the process, but her school certificate has got 2 names, while the NCK documents have got 3 names. Will it have an issue in sending them to CGFNS for verification? And will she need an affidavit before sending them? So I think, Alice, you could probably handle those 2. And then Humphrey, as you're preparing, there are 2 more questions for you, so that immediately Alice finishes, then you can take them. So Mabuko asked a question: how many years are will a prospect nurse bound to the contracts? How many years of a contract is a nurse bound to once they get a job in the US? That is one. And then the second one was okay, there was a second one which is almost the same thing about logistics. Is there a schedule? There's Eve Boke, I believe from Kitui, asked the question that is there a scheduled time for exams? If yes, how many times per year and which months are these? I believe these are the time schedules for NCLEX exams. So Alice can take her 2 questions first, then you will take your 2 questions. So Alice.
Thank you so much, Donat, for your coordination. So Ferdinand Mogaka is asking if doing online academic writing can give one an upper hand as far as passing the NCLEX is concerned. So I think online writing is quite broad, and on the other extreme, NCLEX is very specific. I don't know the kind of topics that you usually handle in online writing. Maybe they are nursing related, maybe they are engineering related, or things to do with teaching, biology, chemistry. So online writing is quite wide. The only thing that probably could give you an advantage is understanding of how online platforms work, because you find that, for instance, our program is entirely, our NCLEX program, the bulk of it is online. So you'll be able to harmonize that one very well. But as far as the upper hand is concerned, I wouldn't really say so, because the NCLEX has its own sets of materials, has its own approach, and has its own specific questions. So if you need to do that for the NCLEX, you will need, we will direct you to adapt specific materials that are NCLEX specific. But for writing, I understand every customer that gives you an order, they give you a different study material to use. But that's not the case with NCLEX, because if you pick materials from over 1,000 sources, you get confused. So NCLEX is about focusing, and it's very specific, as opposed to academic writing, which is very wide. And I hope with that I've answered your question. Then I can move on to the next, who is Elizabeth, and she has problems with names on her documents. With this process, it's highly advisable that you harmonize your documents, because they are very thorough. However, if you can consult us, and you'll be able to check the documents. and try to further consult with our legal consultants and see if it is appropriate for you to proceed, or we will recommend you to maybe sign an affidavit or find a way to harmonize the names. So it depends with the magnitude of the variance, but it's highly recommended that you harmonize your documents such that all of them are reading the same names. The same name that is on your passport should be the same name appearing on your certificates and transcripts, so that you can be assured of a smooth flow. Yeah. Thank you. I hope I've answered. If you have any follow-up concerns, you can chat or maybe consult us later. Yeah. Thank you, Donald. Back to you.
Thank you. Humphrey?
Thank you. I have two questions which are quite direct, so I'll answer them very quickly. So the first question is on how many years someone will be bound to the contract. I want to say that, remember, what we are offering is a self-sponsored program. So that conversation would come after you have passed your NCLEX. The advantages of self-sponsoring yourself for the NCLEX is that once you pass the NCLEX, you have an upper hand to negotiate with your employer how many years they should bind you. That is an advantage someone who is joining an agent before they do their NCLEX will not have. So the years are not fixed. They will vary depending on which trajectory you take after you have passed your NCLEX. So this is a conversation that we are doing specifically with someone who has passed their NCLEX because situations vary. The next question is on, okay, before I answer the next question, I just want to advise people something that is very important. When you sponsor yourself for the NCLEX, you have invested money. So sometimes I speak with some people and then you find that you have signed a contract that does not like reflect that you had already done the NCLEX. So sometimes it's important also to consider that you have invested some money. So you need to be checking some of the contracts that you are signing, because having invested your time and money already in the NCLEX, you need some higher consideration, because when you join an agency at that stage, you have already done a lot. So that is something that we keep on telling our students and advising them, whether they choose to go with us or not, because we value them a lot. Now, when is the NCLEX scheduled? The NCLEX is not scheduled at a particular time of the year because it is a continuous exam. It is a computer adaptive exam. You can do it anytime. In fact, they also schedule exams for weekends on a Saturday. You can go take your exam on a Saturday. And it doesn't determine how many students will be there. You can just be alone. In fact, computer adaptive exam, you can be two of you in the room. You start the exam at the same time, but both of you will do a different exam. No one in NCLEX does the same exam as any other person. So even if you are with another person, in fact, you cannot even copy from them. So that is all.
All right. Wow, I see we still have many questions in the chat box, but time is already here with us, as it's already 9:02. We're supposed to end at 9 sharp. So we are going to end at exactly 9:05. So for the few questions that haven't been answered live, I'll really request that we have shared the contacts of Global Passcode, of Passcode consultants in the chat box. Please, if you can't find time to email them or side chat them or call them, there's a phone number. I think it should be much better so that you also get a personalized answer. But meanwhile, I would like to ask Alice and Afi to give us a call to action. As they are giving a call to action, I think we may all agree they have been very meticulous in the way they answer the questions and their presentations. Can we give them some claps in the chat box? Just send emojis of claps or say some kind words to them as a way of appreciation. So Alice, if you're ready, please give us your call to action, probably 30 seconds, then Humphrey. Mino, let us be giving the claps. Yes, Alice?
Humphrey, please proceed. Just a minute from my end.
Okay. Yeah, so I will give my call to action as Alice prepares herself. I want to thank everyone so much for attending this meeting. It has been a great meeting. And I want to tell you, fellow colleagues, there is no better time to be a nurse than now. Because sometimes I go to our office, I tend to interact even with parents. And you hear some of them telling you that is parents who have children who can go to, children who can, who have completed basic education and they are looking for courses to do. And you find that a parent is a bit biased. They are telling you that they want their child to do nursing because of the opportunities that have opened abroad. Sometimes there is an inner person that always hurts you. When will I start? I'm not ready. When will I start? I'm not ready. I want to tell you that if you want to pursue nursing in the US, the process is a bit long. You need to think about it and start the process. Now, if you feel that you might want to go to the US, but you are not very much ready, you can do the NCLEX exam as a self-sponsored student. That means you will not have bound yourself to any agency. After you have passed the exam, you can decide whether to go or not. Even if you decide not to go to the US and you have done your NCLEX, the way you can use your NCLEX, maybe you can apply for teaching jobs online. Because as time goes on, the US needs hundreds of thousands of nurses, and they will need to be taught the process and also NCLEX. So there are opportunities, even if you do not want to practice nursing in the US. However, for anyone willing to go and practice nursing in the US, I want to assure you that US is a land of opportunities, and you will be surprised after like 3 years in the US, what your nursing course, whether it is a degree or a diploma, can do for you. So time is right, and this is the best time to be a nurse. Grab the opportunities and grab them with a lot of force. I want to wish you all the best.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Humphrey. I hope Alice is now ready.
Yes. Thank you so much, Donald, and thank you, Humphrey, for that great parting shot. First of all, I would like to appreciate our participants who have been with us for the last more than 1 hour. I know it takes a lot of sacrifice to just attend this meeting, and I believe that it's been worth it. Secondly, I want to remind us that in as much as the NCLEX is a difficult exam, it is worthy every process. It is worthy every step. You will have a lot of sleepless nights. You'll have a lot of uncertainties because, again, the process of becoming a nurse in the US is not easy. But then the minute you land in the land of opportunities, you look at yourself and thank yourself. And guys, remember that investing in this process is not just for you. If you are successful and you transition to the US, it's going to be for your own good. You become more financially stable and secure. You're able to help your relatives here at home. You expose your children to greater opportunities globally, and you're able to plan yourself even better. You will up your skills because you'll be exposed to contemporary clinical practices in the global facilities that you may not have encountered if you remained here in Kenya. So guys, we are ready for you. Our NCLEX program is up and running. It's waiting for you. It's up to you to grab the opportunity. And there is no better time than this, because it is projected that the demand for nurses in the US and Canada will keep rising up to beyond 2030. And if maybe you have taken a little time to check on the internet, the pay is good. It is worth the investment that we are making here. You might think the 30,000 is too much, but I acknowledge that for real, it's too much in our current setting. But this is something from the experience sharing with people who are already there. This is something you'll be able to return. You will be surprised. You'll be able to reimburse your pockets in a day or two, and your 30,000 is back in the pocket. So take the first step. Make that phone call to Passcode Global Consultant teams, and we will hold your hand, we will work with you, and we will make sure that your American dream comes into reality. So welcome guys, it's been a pleasure interacting with you this evening, and I wish you the very best in this process. Don't give up, be encouraged, and we are here for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Alice. Thank you, Humphrey. Thank you everyone for attending. Finally, lisilokuwa na kila kenye mwanzo lazima kina mwisho. And we've come to the end of the program today. What I just want to tell you as my call to action to all of us is that your nursing degree and your nursing license is an open visa. You choose to write your destination, and you choose when you want to write it. So if you know that you want to write your destination today, then open that open visa that you have, check it out and write where you want to go and write when you want to go. I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing you all in our next meetings. You can all unmute and say good night and goodbye. If you're there, you can unmute and tell us good night, goodbye.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Goodbye.
Good night. Goodbye. Bengalulo ongea nao watu wa MOH. Ongea nao watu wa MOH watuweke internship, wache ufala.